Hello everyone, and welcome to this important update. In this video, we are going to talk about a significant threat of severe thunderstorms from central and eastern Texas to western Mississippi, which could bring destructive winds, very large hailstones, and even some isolated tornadoes. As always, we begin by timing out these thunderstorms. Things will remain calm for Monday morning, until an area of rain develops over Oklahoma. Before long, isolated thunderstorms start popping up across eastern Texas. By the late evening into overnight hours, these storms start forming into a line, producing damaging straight-line winds, and maybe a few tornadoes. As the line progresses southeast late into Monday night, it will start forming into a crescent shape, which will amplify the damaging wind risk. Once we start reaching the early morning hours of Tuesday, the severe threat will begin diminishing after the line passes western Mississippi. And here is the Storm Prediction Center's latest forecast. A marginal risk extends from southwest Texas to the southern half of Oklahoma, to the Florida Panhandle. Another marginal risk of severe weather is in place for far southern portions of the Florida Peninsula, including places like Miami. A slight risk is in place from central Texas to the eastern half of Mississippi. And lastly, a very concerning enhanced risk extends from northeast Texas to southwest Mississippi, due to the straight-line damaging wind risk this storm will pose. I'm happy to report that tornadoes will be a pretty low risk with this storm. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't be aware of the threat, because the risk does exist across the green and brown colors, so I can't rule out a few weak tornadoes across this area, but especially within this area from northeast Texas to southern Mississippi. Like I've mentioned earlier, the damaging wind risk will likely be the biggest threat, but primarily across this red shaded area. If you live within that corridor from northeastern Texas to western Mississippi, start preparing for damaging thunderstorms. This black hatch risk area not only will have to deal with a high probability of damaging winds, but also facing the risk of significant damaging winds, which could gust close to, or even exceed hurricane force. And lastly, the hail risk. The threat for large hail will be the most prevalent right when the storms start forming, across north-central Texas. If you live in that area, prepare now for thunderstorms that could drop very large hailstones, potentially larger than golf balls. And that concludes today's video. Make sure to stay safe and prepare for these dangerous storms if you are within the threat zones. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more.